I'm here in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, and I just picked up my shiny new Cambodian passport. I became a Cambodian citizen. I told you this is something that I was going to do as one of my new Global South passports. And today I'm going to tell you what the process looked like and why I chose to be Cambodian. My name is Andrew Henderson. I'm the founder of Nomad Capitalist. I've been living this lifestyle for a long time now, and we help our clients do as I've done, get multiple passports, reduce their taxes to single digits or even zero, build options and personal freedom around the world, and protect your assets with asset protection structures. Go to nomadcapitalist.com/apply. Become our client. We help wealthy entrepreneurs and families from all around the world. So here's the deal. Cambodia is the only country in Asia that really offers a citizenship by investment, I would argue hybrid citizenship by exception process, whereby the royal palace has the ability to grant citizenship to foreigners who follow one of two paths. Number one, by far the most common path, is you're going to donate 1 billion Cambodian reals, which with a pretty consistent exchange rate of just about 4,000 to the US dollar for well over a decade now, comes out to about $250,000. You can also make an investment of not much more, 1.25 billion reals, in an actual business and get citizenship that way. So that's about $312,000. Now, I and most other people choose that donation route. You would think, well, why not invest just a little bit more to have a chance to recoup your money? That's a common trap with citizenship by investment. Let's say in the Caribbean, people think, why not buy real estate? Real estate only goes up, not realizing they're mostly buying timeshares that come with a lot of extra fees. You're probably not going to sell it for what you paid for it, if at all. Here in Cambodia, the difference is not that you're buying into some overpriced slop. The difference is you've got to actually go and start a business, often out in the countryside, doing something pretty legit. It's got to get like certified. They don't really even like to do it from what I've seen. And so unless you're in the business of opening up a new garment factory somewhere and actually hiring people and running payroll and exporting product and paying taxes, it's a lot easier just to go and make the donation. Now, the whole process takes between 6 and 12 months, depending on your pace. There are 2 or 3 visits to Cambodia required. We managed to get that down to 2. One to go through the process of the initial due diligence and the filing of the paperwork, and then one to actually pick up your ID card and your passport. And if you spend a little bit extra time that second visit, you can pick up what's called the family book and all the other documents that allow you to do what only Cambodian citizens do, which is things like buy land and even buy certain real estate. Even in the center here of Phnom Penh, a lot of the sangkats, or the local villages within the city center, the captain for many years now will not sign off on property sales to foreigners. Foreigners are designed to buy condos now. Those condos often cost more than where I live in Kuala Lumpur. And so being a Cambodian citizen, the big thing why a lot of people come and do it is you can make investments in Cambodia on par with a foreigner. But the whole process takes around a year. If you're used to, let's say, a Caribbean citizenship by investment process, you're going to have a lot fewer documents to collect. You're not going to have to necessarily talk about all your different passports that you have or bring police certificates from everywhere that you've ever lived in the last decade. It is a more laid-back process where they're going to analyze where is it you actually live, what is your main citizenship, bring us that criminal record, bring us a health check, or else do one here. So I use my health check from Prince Court Medical Center in Kuala Lumpur, which I've often recommended to you. And they accepted that in lieu of a local medical check. So they do their due diligence. They take time to look into people. But it is not a thing where you're collecting tons and tons and tons of paperwork. This is somewhat on par to what you'd find in a handful of European countries. Austria is the one that's been promoted for the longest, where somebody in the government has the power to grant you citizenship under the law. And that's the most important thing about a process like this. So you go to the Caribbean, you go to Vanuatu, now you go to Sao Tome and Principe, others like that. Those countries created actual citizenship by investment acts in their law. What's different about a Cambodia or an Austria or other countries that offer this sort of, fast-tracked or exceptional citizenship is that there is a law allowing a certain person to decide who gets the citizenship. It just so happens that in Cambodia, they pretty much standardized at the numbers that I told you, that 1 billion Cambodian riel donation figure where you're donating that and the palace figures out what they want to do with that money. Austria, in comparison, what's on the other end of the spectrum in terms of types of passports, Austria hasn't entirely commoditized it, but any of these kinds of programs, you'll see, certain regions in Austria, hey, if you invest 5 million euros, we'll consider recommending you. So all they've done here is basically say the palace under the law can grant citizenship. Here are the conditions under which we will do that. But the bottom line is you can get a passport in Cambodia in the course of about a month. The citizenship is inheritable, meaning that unlike the Caribbean citizenship programs where you have to pay extra to pass that down to your kids, generally speaking, in Cambodia, your kids get Cambodian citizenship. The country also allows dual citizenship, so you don't have to give up other passports the way you might in other countries in Asia. And so you might say, well, why would I want a Cambodian passport? I will tell you why. This is the only passport in Southeast Asia, in the 11-country ASEAN bloc, that has any kind of passport program. You can go to Malaysia, you can go to the Philippines, you can go to Thailand, Indonesia. Those all have great residence programs. They're not really going to lead to citizenship by naturalization. Even if you live there for a long time, they might be tax-friendly places to live, but you're not going to get a passport. I believe in the future of Asia. I think having access to invest now and having the identity later in decades to come is going to be a positive thing. I see more regional cooperation in ASEAN, and I see a lot of the global south opening to each other. And so I think the Cambodian passport in the next decade to decade and a half will become a better quality passport in the same way that Russia's passport went in the late 2000s to where it is today. They about doubled their visa-free travel, starting from where Cambodia is right now, somewhere in the mid-50s. Number of countries with visa-free travel. Russia almost doubled that. I think Cambodia may not go quite that far, but you're going to see, in addition to Cambodia's passport offering access to most of Asia, including even Japan, you can go with an e-visa to Russia. The Eastern Hemisphere is very much open to Cambodian citizens, even a lot of African countries. And so I think you'll see more of Asia. I think you'll perhaps start to see Latin America as time goes on open up to Cambodia as the ASEAN bloc does more and as Cambodia becomes more of a serious place to invest, because you're seeing businesses from all over Asia come and invest here. It's much different than when I first started coming here. So that's reason number one. Reason number two is you can buy property in this fast-growing country. It's the only way to buy affordable property now. And so my argument is if you can go out and buy a passport, you can pay, 6 figures. If you can buy property that costs 1/3 as much as what the foreigners are buying, and it's going to hold its value better and potentially grow faster than overpriced condos, it doesn't take a huge investment to turn that citizenship cost into a positive ROI. Number three is I want more passports in the global south. I think Asia is an important place you could go a little bit overweight on. And number four, here's the one I've talked to you about before. Have options, but enjoy the options. People ask me, what do you like about living in Kuala Lumpur? Or, why do you like Cambodia so much? I come here and I just feel it. I've always had an intuition. I felt that of all the places I went in Southeast Asia many, many years ago when I first started, I said, this is perhaps going to be the one that's going to grow. Malaysia is a great developed place to live. Cambodia is going to be the best place to invest. Now, one of the other reasons why I did it was these opportunities don't always last. Cambodia had, when I first came here, some kind of weird passport deal. It was $60,000. If you knew the right people, it probably would have worked. I never met the right people back then to where I felt comfortable with it. The price obviously dramatically went up since then. And there may come a time when they just don't want to do it anymore. Someone changes something, or who knows what happens. And so you want to get in while it's possible. And so whatever passport that I think I might want to have, particularly a country that I think is a great investment frontier, and that, hey, if the world fell apart and this was the one place that I could go and be safe and feel free, you could do worse than living in Cambodia, in my opinion. Hey, why not get that passport now? And so besides that donation, you're going to pay legal fees. This is the kind of thing that Nomad Capitalist helps our clients with. We have more passport options than anyone else around the world. And you'll want to do it legally. You actually go and get registered. You get your ID card. You get your passport. You get your family book. You do all the stuff that you're supposed to do because you got the citizenship under the law. There's a legal basis for granting you that citizenship. You get the royal decree where it was ordered, yes, this person should become a citizen. So it's all papered properly. connected to an actual law. If you'd like our help helping you accumulate those options, go to nomadcapitalist.com/apply. I understand that a lot of folks, particularly in the West, are saying, why would you want to be Cambodian? The reason is, if you're not laughing at the passports that I'm getting and the places that I'm going, I know I'm doing something wrong. Because if you move to Singapore in the 70s or Dubai in the 2000s, people laughed at you the same way they laugh now about Cambodia. But I've seen the progress because I am boots on the ground in places like this. And I feel this will be a good thing to have in the future. And so you want to build a passport portfolio where people laugh, but you know you're building the most sovereign collection of identities that you can. Perhaps not just here in Asia, but also across the global South, and maybe even for the Americans and Canadians and Australians, maybe even somewhere in the European Union as well, so that you have as many options as possible from a tax perspective, from an asset protections perspective, from a personal freedom perspective, and from a personal safety perspective when stuff goes wrong. And so that's what we help our clients do. Go to nomadcapitalist.com/apply, get a bespoke plan to have total freedom around the world. This is what I do for myself. I put multiple 7 figures into it. So the Cambodian process for me, it felt more flexible than the couple Caribbean citizenship processes that I've been through, where it's lots and lots and lots of document collection. One of the reasons for that is I have a team at Nomad Capitalist. They help me the same way they help our clients collect as many of those documents as possible. So we take the burden off. For that reason, it's getting easier every year that we improve our service at the company. But also, it's just a bit more, I won't say laid back, because I do know that they do their due diligence. But it's not a program where they just want paper after paper after paper. Here's the part that makes that happen, in my opinion. It's the fact that Cambodia's passport is not the best for visa-free travel. They do not have to appease the European Union because neither are they next door to it, nor do they have visa-free travel to it. They do not need to appease the United States because you need to get a visa at this embassy right over here, big embassy. You have to go there and get a visa if you are Cambodian to go to the U.S. Now, obviously, if you're a U.S. citizen, you don't need a visa to your own country. If you also happen to be Cambodian, or if you're British or Canadian, you just go to the U.S. or wherever else you're going on that passport. Cambodia is a passport I would use mostly in Cambodia, maybe in the ASEAN region if you haven't traveled throughout it before. You probably don't want to introduce too many different passports anywhere you go to not confuse people. But the process is able to be a bit more relaxed while still ensuring they're not letting in scallywags because they're not under the thumb of those other countries. You know, people can talk about the global South and its alignment with China. ASEAN is increasingly in line with China, not always geopolitically, but economically they increasingly are. Cambodia certainly is economically aligned with China. China does not moralize to countries the way the US and UK does. You know, when Nigel Farage told me that countries should get along with the UK because of shared values, the global South's response is, we don't really share your values. We're tired of being lectured to by you. And what that translates into, and why I think a Cambodian passport is valuable, is I can travel the world. I don't have to pay Cambodian tax. They're not going to tell me how to live my life unless I'm in their country, in which case, of course, I follow their own laws. And in which case, the sense of freedom that you have living here, in my opinion, is generally higher than anywhere in the West. People just kind of leave you alone. Yes, there are some areas that are a lot less developed than what you might be used to, but hell, the West is moving the wrong direction in terms of development. This place is moving up. People are optimistic. And so I think that all those elements together make it a straightforward passport process. It's going to be $250,000, give or take, plus the fees. That is going to be more expensive than Caribbean citizenship by investment or one of the new African citizenship by investments of equal passport quality for just one person. This is a play in Asia. It's a play in investment. In my mind, it's a play in the future, not just for travel, not just as a plan B, but looking optimistically at where Asia is going to be. That's the kind of person that should get this passport.